So this is my buddy Mike. He is a entrepreneur, business owner. He's in the education world. What's great is he consults. So he works for different companies, and they pay him to do business, build relationships. So it's a different perspective. We've had a couple of consultants in here, but I want you guys to see somebody that's local, and he's going to be working with us on a really cool project for how to read, and he can give you some stats on the better you can read, not the more you read necessarily, but the better you can read and write, the more you can make money long term because you can get what you want. You can express yourself.
Yep.
Go for it, Chip.
Cool.
Welcome to Miami. Whatever comes to my mind at that moment.
So I'll share with you guys a quick story if you don't mind. Is that okay? Yes. Now I'm not funny, but I think I'm funny. So you just got to bear with me with the bad jokes. Sound good? Yeah. All right, good. So I'll tell you a little story about me. You guys know who Chris Rock is? Yeah. All right, Chris Rock had a nephew, and his nephew failed first grade. And he yelled at his sister and he says, how stupid does this kid have to be that he failed first grade? Like, how bad do you have to do to not have passed first grade? So one of the things I tell everybody, I love telling that story, and it's one of my favorite Chris Rock jokes because I failed first grade. I was held back in first grade, and when I was a kid, I didn't know why. My parents just said, you're going to do first grade one more time. And I kind of felt like I hadn't done well, and I let that failure define me for pretty much my entire academic career throughout high school. I never really did well in school. I graduated with about a 1.9 GPA, which was just enough to get out of high school, but I always defined myself by that failure. I always defined myself by the fact that I had failed first grade. And one of the interesting things is I never did good in school, but I ended up becoming a teacher. And why did I become a teacher was because I really didn't believe in myself, but a lot of other people believed in me and helped me along the way to get out of there. So when I left education, I really wanted to teach. And I loved teaching. And you hear a lot of people say teachers don't make enough money, teachers don't get paid enough. I couldn't believe they actually paid me to teach. For me, it was a lot of fun. I taught high school, I taught 9th and 10th grade, I taught ethics and Bible because it was just something that I was interested in. But as I was doing that, I always kind of wanted something a little bit more. So I ended up getting into business, and I ended up getting a master's degree, which I was a kid that failed first grade. I actually went on to get a master's degree, which was really exciting for me. And my master's degree, I had never gotten an A in school ever. My master's degree, I got straight A's because I finally found something I loved doing. I found something I was passionate about. So I went to Full Sail University, I got my master's degree, and then I went and I worked for a business that was an online school. And I didn't know that this was a startup. You guys know what a startup is? Like a brand new business, right? Something that's brand new. So I didn't know I was working for a startup, and then that startup ended up getting an investment from a guy named Wayne Huizenga. You guys know who Wayne Huizenga is? You guys know what Netflix and chill is? Yeah. All right, so before Netflix and chill, when I was a kid, we had Blockbuster nights. Y'all ever heard of Blockbuster nights? Yeah, so like back in the day, you had to go to Blockbuster, you had to get the take go home. Wayne Huizenga was the guy that founded Blockbuster. So he was like the local billionaire. He used to own the Miami Dolphins. He brought the Marlins here. He used to own the Marlins, Panthers, and Dolphins all at the same time. And he invested into this company. So man, at this point, me, this kid that failed first grade, I thought I had made it, and I thought that I had been somewhere where I wanted to be. And to be honest with you, all that money came into this business, and I was super excited about it, but it was probably one of the biggest failures of my life because I ended up getting fired from the job. Why? Because I pushed back on a lot of the things that I believed in that I had learned in the classroom. One of the things I learned was that anyone could be successful. Anyone could do great things. So when I got fired from that job, what I did was I went and started to consult for companies that I believed in. So like Daniel mentioned, one of the ones I consult for right now is Top Score Writing. And what we do is we help kids from 2nd grade all the way to 12th grade become better writers. And the reason why we do this is, and like I told you guys, one of the reasons why I failed first grade was they told me I wasn't a good reader, that I couldn't read good. I still don't read good. I don't read well. I don't read good. I don't know which one it is. I'll be honest with you. But I love to listen to books. I love to watch videos. And that's how I learn now. That's how I consume things. But with Top Score Writing, what we do is we go in and we help students become better writers, and we go into those schools. And one of the things that I always taught when I taught and when I was in class, one of the reasons why I love teaching was I saw kids. How many of y'all know what you want to be when you grow up? Raise your hand. How many of you have no idea what you want to be when you grow up? Raise your hand. All right. That is the most successful man in the room right there. You know why? Blank slate, he could do whatever he wants. I'm not saying the rest of you aren't. You guys have an idea what you want to do, that's beautiful. But the opportunities for him are endless. I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. If you told me when I was his age that I would be doing this job didn't exist. This job wasn't present. When I taught, I would see people that would tell kids like, oh, the kids that are really smart in the AP class, oh, they're going to be lawyers, they're going to go to good schools, they're going to do all this, they're going to do all that. The kids I taught, I've been out of the classroom about 10 years now. You know who the most successful kids were? The kids who had no idea what they were going to do. The kids who had no idea what they were going to be. They went out and started businesses. They went out and did great things. They maybe didn't go to college, but they went out and hustled and they made something happen. The businesses that I consult for, I have people that are former teachers. I have people that never went to college. I have people that don't have degrees and they've gone out and they've created these massive, amazing businesses. So when Daniel said that, did I want to talk to you guys, one of the things I want to tell you guys is it's never the current situation you're in. I let the fact that I failed first grade well until I was in my 20s define who I was. And I always thought that I was a failure. And the funny thing is, with social media, when I started putting out the things that I was doing, partnering with businesses and consulting and doing these different things, people that I went to high school with reached out to me, or people that I went to school with reached out to me and said, man, I didn't even know you struggled. I didn't even know you had those problems. I didn't know you didn't do well, but I thought everybody was judging me on that. So the success that you could have doesn't have to be defined. For those of you who did raise your hand and knew what you wanted to do, that's good. But if you don't know, that's also okay too. Because the job you guys are going to have most likely doesn't exist yet. Because now, just like me, I got 4 kids. My kids are 10, 8, 2, and 9 months. It's hard to remember with that many kids. But I know that when they go to college, they may not have to go to college. This world's going to be a different place. The cool thing for you guys is things are changing over and over. The opportunity you guys have here, I didn't have a school like this. If I had a school like this, I may have not felt like a failure because it had an opportunity for me to learn differently. I had an opportunity to see things differently. So if you know or if you don't know, take full advantage of that, guys. Embrace the opportunity you have here. And more importantly, it's not what you know, it's who you know. The fact that I got to meet Daniel is through one of my clients that I met, that I went to a networking event, that I got to know somebody. Anybody like to go out and party and hang out and do things? You know what they call that when you're an adult? Networking. So it's the same exact thing, but you're going and you're getting to know people and you're getting to see things and you're getting to do different things. That's what it's all about. If you go to a party, it's okay to go to parties, it's okay to have fun, but who are you meeting there? What are they doing? What are the connections you're making? And that's a skill to learn. So even though you don't know what you're doing, it's about the connections, it's about the people you know, it's about your neighborhood. I've seen so many people come up from things. I have one client, she's 14 years old, she went to Carroll City High School. She got pregnant at 14 years old. I actually ended up teaching her son, ironically enough, and now she's like a real estate mogul, and she has all these different businesses and keeps giving back to the community. So it's not about where you start, or it's not about where you're at, or it's not about saying, hey, I have this hard thing. For me, it was something simple like I failed first grade and I let that define me. For you, it may be something else, but whatever it is, don't let the immediate moment you're in define you. Let what's next define you. Let where you're going define you. And even if you don't know where it is, that's okay. That's what's going to make you successful. So, any questions? No?
It was interesting on how we talked about stories, on how we actually create stories, because when I was a kid, they told me I looked at myself as not being smart, just like he did. So it's interesting on book smart versus life smart, and how many people are going to let themselves not ever get to life smart because the book smart, it might not be your thing, or math smart or whatever else. So the story you tell yourself, is it the reality, or are you creating your own reality? I view that we get to create our own story in life. So if you want to be smart, tell yourself you're smarter than. If you want to go after something, go get it. Like them three we're doing a fashion thing. We're going to sell clothing. We bought some clothing right before break, and we're going to start selling it next week. We're going to put it all up online next Wednesday.
Awesome.
So it's just interesting to be able to give. Nobody ever sat with me and actually told me how to build a business plan.
Yep. My
parents just bought me some chickens at 5 and told me how to go sell eggs, but they never actually built a business plan for me, so I knew how to go do it again.
And do what you love. And that's the one thing I'll tell you guys. Listen, when a lot of times I always thought I had it, and I left teaching because I thought I had to make more money, and I chased money, and I'll tell you, the years I chased money were some of the most miserable years of my life. The years I stopped doing that, and I have 4 kids at home, so it's not like I don't have bills to pay, but I pulled back and said, let me focus on what I enjoy doing, and then everything else fall in place. Like I said, when I taught, I loved it, because if I did what God called me to do, and I did what I was told to do, everything else fell into place. So if you chase money, you'll never catch it. But if you chase passion, money will chase you. And that's the one thing I'll tell you guys, is always chase that. Do what you love. If you guys love fashion and clothing, do that. If you make $1 or you make $1 million, if you love it, just keep doing it, and everything else will fall into place. And surround yourself with people that can help teach you and that you can learn that.